I thank the representative of the United Kingdom for his statement, and I give the floor to the representative of Greece.
Thank you, Mr. President. I welcome the presence of His Excellency Mr. Kamil Al-Tayeb Idris, Transitional Prime Minister of Sudan, and I would like also to thank Mr. Khaled Kyari, Assistant Secretary General for the Middle East, Asia and the Pacific, Ms. Edom Woshonu, Director of Operations and Advocacy from OCHA for their briefings, as well as Mr. Cameron Hudson for his input. Greece, Mr. President, strongly condemns the deliberate drone attack of the 13th of December against the UNISA logistics base in Kadugli, South Kordofan, which resulted in the tragic loss of 6 Bangladeshi peacekeepers and injuries to several others. We extend our deepest condolences to the families of the fallen peacekeepers, as well as to the government and people of Bangladesh, and wish a swift recovery to those wounded. Greece reiterates that attacks against United Nations peacekeepers are unacceptable and may constitute war crimes under international law. In this regard, we echo the Secretary General's statement of the 13th of December and fully support the press statement circulated by the United States. In the same spirit, Greece joined the WPS take-in delivered prior to this meeting, expressing grave concern over the devastating impact of the conflict on women and girls in Sudan. We strongly condemn the widespread use of sexual and gender-based violence, which constitutes serious violations of international humanitarian and human rights law and may amount to war crimes and crimes against humanity. Mr. President, allow me to highlight 3 critical dimensions of the conflict. First, Greece is deeply concerned by the deteriorating security situation in South Kordofan, particularly in and around Kadugli. Urgent preventive action is needed to avoid a repetition of the tragic outcome witnessed in El Fasher. Civilians remain dangerously exposed to hostilities, humanitarian access is constrained, and insecurity is growing. We call for de-escalation, the protection of civilians, particularly vulnerable groups like women, children, and the elderly, and unhindered humanitarian access. This is essential to prevent a siege-like scenario with devastating humanitarian consequences like in El Fasher. Second, Greece reiterates that there cannot be a military solution to the conflict. Both the SAF and the RSF must engage constructively, and in good faith we need international stakeholders to pursue a negotiated path forward. We urge their full and unconditional cooperation with the UN, the African Union, IGAD, and other relevant partners, including the Secretary General's personal envoy, Mr. Lamamra, to advance an immediate cessation of hostilities and a credible political process. Accountability for violations of international humanitarian and human rights law remains essential, nevertheless, in all stages of this process. Third, the humanitarian situation has reached unprecedented levels of severity. More than 10 million people are displaced, while famine and disease threaten populations trapped in besieged areas. We continue to stress the urgent need for the rapid, safe, and sustained delivery of humanitarian assistance in full respect of international humanitarian law. Children continue to suffer disproportionately, and all parties must immediately cease and prevent any violations against women and children, including recruitment, killing, maiming, and sexual violence. Mr. President, in concluding, Greece reaffirms its firm respect for the sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity of Sudan. All efforts toward resolving the conflict must remain Sudanese-owned, Sudanese-led, in full accordance with international law and the principles of the UN Charter. Preserving Sudan's unity, sovereignty, and territorial integrity is essential to avoid further fragmentation of the country, regional destabilization, and prolonged human suffering. Respect of international law remains the cornerstone of any credible and sustainable path to peace, and we urge all sides intensify efforts for an immediate ceasefire and a return to the political process. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Greece for the statement, and I give the floor to the representative of China.